I'm going to do a video here on how to mount tires to these RC four-wheel drive Raceline Monster 1-inch beadlock wheels. They honestly were easier than mounting the other wheels that I did in the previous video. I forget what they were called, like stamp steel or whatever, but they did take longer. Every other bolt around this outer ring holds the ring on. And there's one way for you to find out which bolts that you have to take off, and that's to take out any two adjacent bolts on the outer ring. So let's start off by doing that. Before I move on to this next step, the tools that you'll need for this are a 1.5 millimeter hex wrench and a little adapter that comes with these wheels. It's this little metal piece, so you really don't want to lose this, otherwise you won't be able to take apart your wheels. And I actually was not able to install this on my normal 1.5 millimeter hex wrench for some reason, but I was on this well-used Park Tools multi-tool, and that was because the tips were a little bit rounded off. So you might have some issues using your tool. So once we took off the two adjacent bolts on the outer ring, you'll notice that one is larger than the other, and that's because it is not threaded. Those are the ones that you're going to want to remove. So we can go ahead and reinstall the screw into the smaller hole, because that doesn't actually hold the outer ring on. And now what you're going to want to do is remove every other bolt around this ring. So I went ahead and did that on one of these other wheels, and as you see, it just comes right apart. So let me put this back on. You'll be here, and it just slides right off. And now that you have this ring off, see how these bolts are staying in this outer ring? You can take the wheel apart, you can take the outer ring off, and the inner wheel. And the first step to installing these is just the same as the other wheels that we installed in my other video. You want to pop that inner ring into the inside of the tire. And like I said before, these are RC four-wheel drive tires, so they should fit on these RC four-wheel drive wheels just fine. These are the Patagonias. And now that the ring's inside, we can go ahead and put the inner wheel in. And I don't know if it's these tires or these wheels, but getting the bead correct with this pair of RC four-wheel drive wheels and tires was just so much easier than the previous one. I think it helps that you just install this one piece, this small outer ring, and you don't have to line up spokes or anything like that. After you check to make sure the bead is good on the back, is nice and even all the way around the wheel. You want to go ahead and install your ring, and I found that it helps if you place the tire and wheel down on the desk, and you want to put the bolts, you want to line those up with the bigger holes on the wheel. And this is honestly the most difficult part of installing tires on these wheels. Alright, so I've got it in there. Go ahead and install the bolts that you just took out. So the way I like to do it is I'll screw in one bolt until it catches on the wheel, in the inner wheel, on the threads. Go to the other side, do the same thing, and then just alternate sides until all the bolts are just in. And then I'll do the same thing except screw the bolts all the way down. And that way it gets tightened evenly all the way around the ring. Now I'll give you my quick thoughts on these wheels. So the pros of these wheels are they look amazing. As you can see on this running footage, they look super scale on the truck, and they make the truck in pictures honestly look a lot bigger than it is. Because for the size of these wheels, which is 1 inch, they are super detailed and super realistic. And the way that RC4WD Drive does this is they machine these wheels out of billet aluminum. So the detailing is just amazing. Even down to, there's like a little logo on one of the spokes that's tiny, but yet it looks perfect. Like I don't know how they did the logo, but they nailed it. Just the attention to detail on these wheels is amazing, especially for the size. I would say the second pro of these wheels is that they were easy to install tires on. It did take a little bit longer, but they were relatively easy. Some things I don't like about the wheels are they're super expensive. So the realism and the detail that you get from these come at a price. My guess is that the manufacturing process is what makes these so expensive, because they cost almost $80 for a pair of 4, which is crazy, especially considering that the vehicles that they're going on are around $130. So the price is just insane. Another con of these wheels is just the amount of time it takes to install tires on them. For every wheel, you have to undo a minimum of 10 bolts. That's not including any bolts any extra bolts that you remove. So I think these wheels are made for people who want the most realistic looking wheels, regardless of price. Because quite honestly, they're not the most practical thing. If you want technically the most best performing wheel, you're going to get something that weighs a little bit more. As much as these look heavy, they're not the heaviest wheels you can buy. You're really going to be buying these for the looks. If you're more of a practical person, I would just stick to the stamp steel wheels. But that's it. Thanks for watching.